Hey guys, welcome back here to the channel. If you haven't caught any of my videos before, my name's Tom. I'm a digital nomad currently based here in Da Nang in Vietnam, and I've been traveling abroad for coming up to like the last 8 months now. And yeah, it's been a great adventure, guys. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's kind of got better and better actually, particularly since I got to places like Thailand and Vietnam. And if you haven't joined me before, as I say, welcome to the channel. My videos hopefully aim to inspire people to live the life that you want to live, take risks, escape the 9 to 5, and I'd like to hopefully pass on a little bit of my experience and how I've done it. And in today's video, guys, I really want to talk about one. I call it a superpower, but one skill that I think is absolutely fundamental to being a digital nomad or being self-employed or owning your own business. And that skill, guys, is sales. And I know when people think about sales, it kind of conjures up a lot of bad connotations, and people have a bad perception, I think, generally speaking, about sales and the type of people that get into the industry. But guys, it was an industry that I worked in for probably the best part of 10 years, particularly in my 20s and early 30s. And I had the rough and the smooth guys. I had a lot of difficulty myself working in the industry, but I'm a big believer that it seriously has helped me a lot elevate my business and actually take my business to the next level. It is just ultimately one of those skills that you need to learn, or you need to practice, and you need to get better at if you're gonna succeed as a digital nomad. Because at the end of the day, guys, we're in the business of selling our services, right? We have to kind of convince and persuade people to work with us. And generally speaking, the first point of call where you would do that is to get somebody on what we call a discovery call. They're sometimes called strategy sessions, but essentially, guys, it's a sales call on Zoom or Google Meets, and it will last anywhere between 20 minutes and half an hour. And I before I go into a little bit more about that, guys, and how I do it myself, I'd just like to share with you a little bit about my experience in sales. So it wasn't something that I particularly sort of intended to go into, guys. It was more that I fell into it, really. After graduation from uni and sort of bouncing around from job to job, I ended up sales found me probably by around about the age of 26. I think I was in sales. I started selling exhibitions and events for companies in London. So that might not mean anything to you, but essentially what that is it's selling the floor space at big trade shows or exhibitions. So my job was to be on the phone, ringing up companies and basically asking them if they wanted to buy a pitch or a booth. Sometimes they're called stands at the exhibition. And obviously it's B2B, so you've got to sound really professional on the phone and everything. And yeah, I'll be honest, guys, to be honest, it came quite naturally to me, really, the selling. I've always been someone who's enjoyed talking to people, and I had a lot of jobs even before university that were kind of customer service, call center related. So I was very, very used from a young age to picking up the phone, ringing people, introducing myself, and this type of thing. And I've said it before that I think everyone would do well to pick up kind of some type of door-to-door sales job or call center job where you're thrown into the lion's den. And the reason I say that is because it teaches you so much about resilience and the art of just not giving up. Because it is bloody hard, guys. It really is hard getting those knockbacks and those rejections on the calls, or people in no uncertain terms telling you to do one. And I've had it many times where people have sworn at me or been very, very rude to me. And unfortunately, it's just part and parcel of the job. But it is, you do grow some resilience from it. And taking you back to my 20s, and I think that really set me up for working in these kind of more corporate B2B sales roles. And there is a bit of pressure in these roles. You've got to be able to speak to people and convince them and sell to them. And what I saw, guys, over the years, I said it before in my previous video, I saw a lot of really bad salespeople in these companies that I worked in. Really, really bad salespeople. It was just quite often, guys, they've just got the gift of the gab, or they're bullshitters, and they can just talk the talk, but they might get a few sales here and there, but selling, like I said at the start of this video, it's got the perception and the connotations are not always that good, but there's certainly an art to selling, guys. There really is. And if you do it in the right way, being able to pull and push at the right time, there's a certain charm that comes with it as well. And it's about learning how to do sales. Of course, I could talk to you in another video about the sales cycle, but I believe there's sort of 4 or 5 parts to the sales cycle that kind of science behind it almost. But one of the things I was thinking about in the lead up to this video is, and I've said it before to other people, is I've asked myself the question: can you learn sales? Can you learn and become better at sales, or are you just born a salesman? And I'm kind of conflicted myself, really, when I think about that question, because I've always leaned more to the side that I do. Overall, guys, I do think it's something you're kind of born with. I think it's a personality thing. Yes, of course, you can get better at sales. I'm always suggesting to colleagues and peers, practice your sales. Make sure that you're really well versed in explaining your service. But ultimately, guys, I've thought about this long and hard, and I do think that really, I do think personally, I think that you've either got it or you haven't. And luckily for me, I think I've just kind of got the personality where, I'm quite a confident chap. I don't mind introducing myself to new people. I do take the initiative. Not all the time, by the way. Not in my personal life. I can be, it can be far more introverted. But certainly pushed in a work environment, I was always excelling, guys, in my sales jobs. I was always right at the very, very top when it came to the sales leaderboard, and making companies lots of money. It's just, my face never fitted, guys. I said it before in my previous video. If you haven't caught that one, I was talking about why I left the corporate world and went self-employed. And in that video, I was basically saying why I just didn't ever feel like I was made out to work in a 9 to 5 or a corporate job. And there was a lot of dark days where I just couldn't get on with the others. I felt like a fish out of water most of the time in those jobs. And to be quite honest with you, seriously depressed over the 13 years that I worked in these corporate roles, where I was just pretending to be someone that I wasn't, basically just pick up a paycheck. And yeah, sales is an okay paid industry. I never really saw that money, if I'm honest with you, because I was always staying at the sales executive level. I never went actually up to management. But when I think back to it now, guys, in hindsight, I don't think I would have wanted the stress anyway of working with, being in the meetings. I found the meetings incredibly difficult. So just bringing that back round, guys, to why I think that sales is so fundamental and important for you. If you are thinking about setting up your own business, going self-employed, becoming a digital nomad, I think the first place to start, guys, really is getting really, really sure and familiar on your message and your niche and who you want to target, because you really need to know that inside out. The thing is, I've had so many sales calls now for my business. I've probably had, in the 4 years that I've been working on this business, I must have had probably way over 500 sales calls. So to me now, guys, it's just, I can do them in my sleep. But at first, what I would always suggest is, and this may feel even more uncomfortable to you listening to this, is kind of almost script it out. The reason for that is you do need to have a structure on your sales calls. So generally speaking, you would introduce yourself first and thank the person for obviously coming onto the call. Then really what you want to do then is ask some really, really thought-provoking and insightful questions to the client or student. So, what's their motivation for booking the call with you? What are they hoping to actually aim? What's their goals? Really ask those questions, and then you can talk about how your solution or how your offer can help basically fix the gaps or provide them with the results that they're looking for. So it should never just be a simple chat, guys. I think what a lot of people get sort of where they lose the sale or lose the other person on the phone is they either approach it as a very relaxed conversation and there's no emphasis or there's no drive for making the sale, or perhaps you could go the other way and you could be too aggressive and you could be too overzealous, and I don't think that approach works really well either. So that, as I said to you before, there's a fine balancing act that you need to strike when you're on these calls. And the truth of it is, guys, really is that you really need to be, for the length of the call, for the whole time on the call, you need to be moving the needle and moving the sale all the time along. I was always told in my early days in sales, keep pushing, keep pushing for the sale. But as I say, you've got to do it in a genuine way, and a way which shows that you're listening. And it can be done. It can be done, but it's got to come from a place of confidence, but a place of being genuine and wanting to help, I would say, as well. So, as I said to you before, guys, I will go into more depth on these calls and what you can do to get the sales. I want to really break that down for you in future videos. And if you haven't done already and you do like this content, don't forget to give this video a like and hit the subscribe button. I'm looking to put out more content most weeks, if not every week, about life as a digital nomad, setting up your own business. And as I've said to you before, further down the line, I actually really want to start helping you more closely with this as well. So if that's something that's a priority for you right now, feel free to also hook up with me on Instagram and reach out to me and send me a message on there, and I'd love to have a no obligation chat with you, and we can set up a call. But thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.